Exceptionally, President of Indonesia Global Compact Network, Dr. Martha Tilla, founder of Martha Tilla Group, a member of Global Compact, and distinguished business leaders from around the world, and members of Global Compact Indonesia. It's a great pleasure to meet you. It has been my great pleasure during the last 7.5 years to meet the members of the Global Compact Network wherever I've been traveling. We have more than 8,000 members around the world. It has become the largest and most successful partnerships United Nations has ever created. And I'm very much proud of what United Nations has been doing in close coordination with business leaders around the world. During the last many years, on a voluntary basis, the business leaders have been actively taking part in values and goals and objectives of the United Nations. When we are talking about United Nations goals, that is goals and objectives and ideas of a human society, human being. Because the Charter of the United Nations represents the human rights and development and peace and security, which means guarantees and ensures well-being of our human beings. In that regard, the United Nations has been initiating many initiatives. Global Compact is just one of them. The Sustainable Energy for All initiative, and every woman, every child, or nutrition scaling up nutrition initiatives, and food, and Zero Hunger Challenge, and there are many initiatives, and there are many ideas and goals United Nations has been promoting to achieve. In a very practical way, this Global Compact has risen rapidly during last just over 10 years. We've been having this global network meeting and summit meeting, global network summit meeting. In September in New York, we are going to have a global network summit meeting this year. I'm sure that many business leaders will be participating. Then what would be the expectation of the member states, United Nations, or many people around the world on business leaders? And what do we expect the business leaders to do, and what the business leaders are supposed to do? I'm very glad that you are now taking initiative in inter-religious, inter-cultural, and inter-religious area. Global Compact has been taking its own initiative in water and sanitation and climate change, and you have made 10 principles including human rights, management and labor, and anti-corruption, transparency, etc. Those are all the goals and objectives which we are doing. But when it comes down to very practical issues, climate change and water, you have established water mandate, CEO water mandate, and carrying climate. Those have been very important and successful initiatives which you have taken. Now, on the occasion of this AOC meeting in Bali, you are now discussing this intercultural, interreligious areas. You can make a great difference. At this time, one of my experiences, one of good lessons which I have learned is that we need the partnership, particularly tripartite partnership. The government, the business communities, and civil society. without fostering this partnership, and if any of this partnership, any of leg of this tripartite partnership is missing, no government, no company, or no international organization can be successful. That's my lessons which I have learned through 7.5 years as a Secretary General. In that regard, I'm very much grateful. Business leaders, business community has been taking much greater role on a voluntary and much more proactive way. You are now initiating yourselves. And if government leaders, ministers, do not reflect what you need, then any economic policies or social policies cannot be successful. It's much different now. In the past, when the leaders were very much authoritative and the country was very authoritative, one-way traffic was possible. At the time, the government was leading the business communities. These days, in fact, the government leaders, the president and prime ministers are just pushed by the business communities. And they are also pushed by civil society. These days, any president, any government, without listening to the views of civil society, they cannot do anything. And that's why I'm urging government leaders that you must fully cooperate with business communities and listen very carefully to the civil society, NGOs, leadership. These are the real voices of the people on the ground. Because you are working on the ground, and they should listen. What are the concerns? What are the problems which you are experiencing? Particularly with regard to government legislation, government regulations. That is very important one. In that regard, Global Compact Network has been making a great contribution, not only for their own business activities, but for the overall development of the country. And I really thank you very much. As you may remember, I was here for the first time in Bali in December 2000. At the time, there was the biggest UN conference on climate change. And we were able to adopt this Bali roadmap. It was the first roadmap in the area of climate change negotiations. And after that, member states have been building up on during the last 7 years. We are really looking forward to finally the global legal climate change agreement in December next year in Paris. I sincerely hope that you will make great contributions. While you are doing business, it's true that you are making a lot of impact to current climate change phenomenon. A lot of greenhouse gas emissions are being generated by your industries. How you make your industry environment friendly, climate friendly, green economy, that is now a very important responsibility of business leaders. I'm very happy to report to you that now there is a very strong consciousness and commitment by the business communities to reduce the greenhouse gas emissions, make their business activities environment friendly. This is what I am asking you to do that. Now, this cultural and religious areas, there are a lot of tensions and crises around the world. As you see, starting from Syria, Ukraine, these days, during the last 3-4 months, Iraq, and extremism, radicalism, and terrorism, and in South Sudan, Central African Republic, and there are a lot of tensions. Then business communities can create a very important contribution by employing your staff on a very harmonious, without discrimination to ethnicities or any racial discriminations, and also providing good human conditions. I think you can also contribute to reducing all these kind of tensions, or proactively eliminating the sources of symptoms. This I'm asking you. And businesses are the places where people from different cultures and religions can cooperate. And markets also provide the stage for demonstrating the strength of diversity. A few months ago, I visited Sweden. Sweden is the country where these foreign migrant workers are very much supported. And together with the Prime Minister of Sweden, I visited one company. This company is run by all foreign migrant workers from Africa, Asia, Latin America, or some other Eastern European countries. They were doing very well. But normally, when they are employed somewhere, one or two, they are normally sidelined or discriminated. But this company, they are all foreign migrant workers. And I was very much impressed, having seen together with the Prime Minister that is kind of a very successful stories. And therefore, the market can demonstrate the strength of diversity. This main theme of this AOC is unity in diversity. Indonesia, as I have been saying, that is a country where more than 250 million people are living, among whom more than half of them are Muslims. But there are many people who practice, believe in Buddhism, Judaism, Hinduism, and Christianity. We have been living harmoniously side by side. And this kind of example can be emulated in the businesses and in other countries around the world. The platform aims to expand the private sector action for peace. And I know that you are coming from at least 30 countries, and I know that about 100 business leaders are gathered here. And I highly commend your strong commitment to work together with the United Nations. I'd like to tell you is that while we are living in a very troubled world, if we become a little bit more flexible and try to understand the others' positions and views, then we can generate a very strong energy and power. If you insist on your views, then in the end, in most cases, it will be ending up in the fighting, a very violent fighting, which we are now seeing around the world. It's a war, and many people will have to be killed or injured, and many people will have to become refugees or displaced persons. So this is what sadly we are seeing around the world. Now, while we fully respect the business and businessmen to have some prosperity and gains and profits in business communities, that's only nature, that you have to gain profits. At the same time, just to think about other people and have compassionate leadership for other people, then I think we can have a very smooth and harmonious community. small community starting from company can be expanded and can create very harmonious community, city, and country becomes all international community, United Nations. That's what I'm really asking you. I'm very much grateful for your personal commitment as a member of the Global Compact, as a leader of your business, and I'm really counting on your continuing commitment and leadership. But to make this world harmonious, where everybody can live with human dignity, and where people's rights will be fully protected. I thank you very much for this opportunity.